What's good with the fight fans, man? It's Kajana back with a recap video of this last weekend's fights. Cannonier versus Gastelum. It was a pretty decent card. It wasn't too bad. I felt like there was a good amount of finishes, which was surprising. I thought this card was going to be so-so, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like these cards that are not like the main, like the big main events and shit, the UFC 263s and 61s and all that kind of stuff. I feel like these ones, the fight night cards, end up having a lot of good fights compared to the pay-per-view cards. But I'm gonna go through all these real quick, tell you my thoughts. Sasha Palatnikov versus Ramiz Brahimaj. Man, Sasha literally fucked up every single one of my parlays. He fucked up he fucked up all my DraftKings lineups as well. I picked him as a plus 120. I thought his striking was going to be legit. I watched some of his highlights, some of his tape, and his striking's pretty decent. Brahimaj, I already knew he was a grappler, but I just didn't think that he was going to be able to do what he did as fast as he did it, which was that rear naked choke. Yeah, it wasn't a very exciting fight. I was disappointed that my first fighter lost the way he did. He didn't even, I don't know, he didn't even show up. So yeah, that's how I feel about that fight. So 0-1 already for the prelims. Roosevelt Roberts versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I watched Bahamondes fights. I watched his fucking Contender Series shit, and I wasn't really that impressed with his kickboxing skills, but this fight actually impressed me because Roosevelt Roberts was supposed to be a top prospect. I thought he was going to be a decent fighter. I never thought he was championship material, but I did think he was going to be, I don't know, top 30 maybe of the division eventually. And he definitely showed that he's not going to be anything in the UFC. I don't want to knock the guy because he's still getting in there and he's still banging with these dudes and shit. But yeah, horrible performance. He was a favorite. I didn't pick him in any DraftKings lineup because it was too iffy of a pick for me. Roosevelt Roberts doesn't have a high output. He did when he first got into the UFC. His output was a lot higher than it is now. He tends to gas out now. It seems like his head wasn't even in the fight, it seemed like, and that's why he got spinning heel kicked and fucking knocked out. I replayed the knockout a few times because when I was watching, I was like, man, dude, this fool's tired. He keeps putting his hands down. He keeps looking at the clock, like he's ready to leave, like he's just ready to get out of the ring or the cage. And yeah, last 5 seconds of the fight, this guy's probably gonna kick him. He throws a fucking spinning heel kick and knocks his ass out. A clean ass spinning heel kick, and it was nice, dude. It hit him right on the jaw, and honestly, he deserves to be KO'd because what are you doing, bro? You keep looking at the clock. Like, as a fighter, professional fighter, don't keep looking at the clock, man, because you're tired. Like, I understand that you're tired, but dude, you're getting paid to fight, man. Your cardio should be on point. And I mean, that's what I think. I think cardio is number one. I think your cardio should always be good. Cardio is number one, and making your weight is number two. Or vice versa. Making your weight is number one, cardio number two. Somewhere around there. Those two I feel like are the most important things. As being a professional fighter, I feel like those are the most important things to have. And I don't know. I'll never pick Roosevelt Roberts again unless he fights a bum, like Thomas Gifford or something. That he just got pieced up and shit. But yeah, the next fight was phenomenal, man. I'm not gonna say the KO wasn't phenomenal because the punch was kind of, I'm not gonna say lucky punch because it was a nice counter, but it wasn't a really nice like hook or anything like that. His arm was kind of just weird. It was like straightened and shit the way he caught him. But this dude William Knight is so fucking explosive. If you follow him on Instagram, dude, this motherfucker does backflips and back handsprings and shit like that, like nothing. And it's fucking nuts to me that he does this shit at the weight he's at, because this guy's probably walking around 230, 245. The dude's big, man. He's a tank. I mean, I know everybody's seen how big he was in the ring, but like, just think he weight cut it, hydrated back up. Think of how much he weighs just during off season. On his Instagram, it shows that he used to be like 300 pounds, and this guy moves fucking good for his weight, dude. I honestly didn't think he was going to get a KO. I thought he was going to take him down and ground and pound him and then probably get a TKO, maybe in the second round. But it was a good fight while it lasted. The backflip was fucking amazing, dude. That was more impressive to me than the fucking knockout. because you can tell the guy could knock you out. I mean, look at his physique. Look at the way he's built. He's built like a tank. But I wasn't expecting him to do a backflip like that. Literally right afterwards, I started following him on Instagram because I wanted to see, like, dude, what the fuck is this guy's training regimen? And I know it has a lot to do with the training regimen, discipline, and just genetics. And this guy has a different type of genetics than most people that are in the UFC, because that guy's, he's ready to fuck anybody up in the division. And he actually has good cardio for how big he is. Yeah, that's how I felt about that fight. Next fight. I was completely wrong on this one, but I didn't get a chance to tell you guys. I didn't make a video the day before the fights that I did change my pick. I ended up picking Josiah Nunez in my DraftKings lineups and in my parlays because she was a plus 150 or 160 or some shit. And for some reason I like picking the underdog chicks, especially as debuters, because they always surprise people, especially when it comes to like doing a parlay or doing bets. I like picking them as like the underdogs, because it usually could go either way with the chick fights. It's a lot of split decisions and shit like that, depending on who they're fighting. If it's Shevchenko, then yeah, it's probably you're gonna just get beat, or Nunez, you're probably gonna just get beat. But yeah, Nunez came in and she was ready to go. And the same thing that happened to Roosevelt Roberts happened to Bea Malecki. She got caught with her hands down, tired already in the first round, looking up at the clock, and she got slept. And that's a lesson for any fighter. Don't look up at the clock and have your hands down. Like, just wait, man. Just wait until the buzzer, or have your coach let you know every fucking 2 minutes that you're in, or halfway or whatever, or 1 minute in. Every minute, have your coach say 4 minutes, 3 minutes, or whatever. Do whatever you got to do to not look at the clock. But Bea Malecki got slept. And for any of these fighters that are getting tired like that, I know it was a high output. Like, I just don't think people should, at a professional level, should be getting tired in the way that they're getting tired, especially in the first round. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's bad nutrition, probably. She probably shouldn't be in this weight class because she is 5'11". She literally was fighting a dwarf that's only 5 foot. I mean, Nunez just put it on her. So I did end up picking her. I was happy that I picked her. It was a good underdog pick. I was confident in Bea Malecki just because of how tall she was and her reach, but sometimes that doesn't really matter. I mean, we've seen Stefan Struve try to use his reach against people, but he gets slept. So, I mean, and he's a fucking 7-footer. Yeah. Next fight. So I was right on that pick. I was right on William Knight. I was wrong on. So yeah, I'm 2 for 2 in the prelims right now. Brian Kelleher versus Domingo Pilarte was the next one. I picked Brian Kelleher. I didn't see anything with Domingo Pilarte that I was impressed by. I knew that Brian was going to take him down and just fucking manhandle him with his wrestling. I knew that was going to happen. That was actually one of my most confident picks for DraftKings and for my parlays. Mainly my parlays. I think I only had him in a few lineups on my DraftKings lineups. But he got a shitload of points. So yeah, great performance. Domingo Pilarte didn't show shit in the whole fight. He couldn't show anything because Kelleher was just manhandling him. Yeah, and I like that he called out Sean O'Malley. I think Sean O'Malley should take that fight. I would love to see Brian Kelleher and Sean O'Malley fight, because I think Kelleher were fucking... I think he'll just take O'Malley down and fucking ground and pound him, and O'Malley's not going to know what the fuck to do. Or he might just sleep him on the feet with one of his overhand rights, because Kelleher actually has hands. He can strike. He striked with a lot of great fighters, or not great, but really good fighters in that division. Even the one TKO or the one KO loss that he has against John Lineker back in a few years ago, that's not a bad loss to have, dude. John Lineker is a savage. If you try to fucking strike with Lineker, dude, or try to get into a brawl with Lineker, you're probably gonna go to sleep, because that dude hits hard. They don't call him hands of stone for no reason. And Brian Kelleher was trying to strike with him a little bit, and he got slept in the 3rd round. So it's not a bad loss to have. I mean, Lineker hits hard. But yeah, good performance. Next fight, Austin Lingo versus Luis Saldana. Saldana started off great, super fast pace, too fast of a pace. He didn't pace himself at all. He just burnt out. He had a little bit of cardio left in the 2nd round. In the 3rd round, he didn't have anything. And Lingo is just tough, dude, because the 1st round he was getting pieced up. I was super nervous on that one. He just didn't look good. Lingo was a plus 105. I ended up picking him in my parlays and in my DraftKings lineups. Yeah, he just didn't look that good. And I knew that Lingo wasn't great, but I did know that he was tough though. I watched some of his other fights, and That fool can take a fucking beating, man. It's crazy. The guy took so many liver kicks, and those spinning heel kicks to the body, dude. Like, I'm surprised he didn't just fold, because after like the second or third one, he started like I don't know, he started leaning over, kind of hunching over, like he knew it was hurting, but he just didn't give up, and he had the better to be hit in the body that many times and to still have better cardio than your opponent and to outlast him. That, I mean, that shows a lot, dude. It shows what type of training and this guy's doing, and just his willpower and his heart and shit. So I respect Gastelum. I'll probably never pick him again unless he fights somebody that's just not that good at all. But Luis Aldana looked really good in the first round. If he had better cardio and paced himself, he would have won for sure. Lingo is just, he's a brawler. He's just tough. But I'll probably never, like I said, I'll probably never pick Lingo again, because it's just, it wasn't an impressive fight to me. So yeah, what did I go? 1, 2, 3, 4 for 6 for the prelims. So it's not that good, but it is what it is. The fights are over. I just wanted to give you guys this recap video real quick. Pantoja versus Royval. I picked Pantoja in my video, but I ended up switching and going with Brandon Royval because he was a plus 155. Great fight while it lasted. That should have been the co-main event easily. I don't know what the fuck the UFC is doing with how they're putting these fucking fighters in different spots, but that fight should have for sure been the co-main event. I don't know why Parker Porter was in front of him, and Chase Sherman, Clay Guida, Mark Madsen. I don't know why any of these other fights were in front of them, because Pantoja's a fucking savage, dude, and I can't wait to see him fight for the belt. And I already knew that he fought Brandon Moreno, but I didn't know that he fought him twice and beat him both times. So that's going to be a really good fight. I think Pantoja probably could get it done again if he fights smart. He's a very cerebral fighter. He plays to your weakness. If you're weak on the ground, he'll try to submit you. If you're weak standing up, he'll try to strike with you. And if he feels like he's better than you everywhere, then he just fucking pieces you up and does what he wants to do in the ring. But Brandon Royval looked actually really good in the first round. Yeah, he's inexperienced on the ground compared to Pantoja, and I feel like he just needs to have more fights. I feel like fighting Pantoja happened a little bit too soon. He should have waited a little bit to fight him. He should have had like 1 or 2 more fights before fighting someone like Pantoja. But that's my own opinion. Royval's a beast. He's gonna be in the top. He's gonna be in the top 5 eventually. So next fight, Vince Pichel versus Austin Hubbard. Decent fight. It's kind of what I expected. A little bit of back and forth. Vince Pichel is pretty tough. I ended up picking Austin Hubbard as an underdog. Yeah, I'm not gonna really talk too much about that one because it just wasn't that. It was a good fight. It just wasn't exciting to me. I didn't really pay attention to this one that much because, yeah, I'm done with that one. But yeah, Vince Pichel won. Trevin Jones versus Kak Romanov. I ended up picking Kak Romanov. I think I picked him in my video as well. But yeah, Trevin Jones just didn't have an answer. Kak Romanov, I watched his highlights and he looked really good. So, and he looked well-rounded, and that's what I was looking for. Trevin Jones, dude, fucking, I don't like knocking fighters, but it was a shitty fucking performance, dude. He was literally hugging him the entire fight, trying to hug him against the cage. And at times, he wasn't even really going for the takedown. He was just against the cage, against the dude, and trying to like maybe win by body control or something, or I don't know what the fuck the guy was doing, but he wasn't throwing any strikes. I think he just kept trying to get a double leg takedown, and you think you're gonna win the fight just by getting a double leg takedown? That's not even a fight, in my opinion. Like, it's different if you're gonna take somebody down and you're gonna actually ground and pound, or you're gonna try to submit him, or you're gonna actually do something on the ground. But if you're just trying to like take somebody, this isn't a wrestling fucking match, dude. I don't get why some of these fighters are just trying to get like point fight. That shit's fucking gay, dude. Like, I don't know, that shit's whack. But yeah, point fighting's fucking garbage. Unless if you're actually in a point fighting thing, then that's cool. Wonder Boy used to do that shit. That's entertaining if you're actually in a point fighting organization. But this is mixed martial arts, dude. This is the UFC. You should be looking for a fucking finish. You shouldn't be looking just to nut hug somebody the whole time and win that way just by fucking control time. That shit's garbage, dude. But yeah, anyways, Trevin Jones is whack. And I usually don't knock fighters, but that was a fucking horrible performance considering this guy came in on 4 days notice. And yeah, he had 4 or 5 replacement fighters, but who the fuck cares, dude? Maybe that was his game plan the whole time for his last opponent, was to take him down, but that shit was garbage, dude. Get rid of Trevin Jones, cut him from the UFC. That was a horrible performance. Next fight, Parker Porter, dude, plus 160. If you picked him, I almost picked him, but Chase Sherman, something was telling me Chase Sherman was going to win, and he just did not show up, really. Parker Porter had a crazy high output, especially for a heavyweight. It was kind of a sloppy fight, just for both of them. But Parker Porter edged him, and it was a decent performance for him, and he was a good underdog pick. Next fight, Clay Guida, the Carpenter, versus Mark Madsen. I picked Mark Madsen, but it was a lot closer than I expected. I thought that Mark Madsen would at least get a few takedowns or do something. I didn't think that I knew Mark Madsen's striking wasn't great, but it's Clay Guida, man. Like, I'm not knocking Clay Guida. Clay Guida's really fucking good, and he's really good to still be in the UFC fighting top contenders like Mark Madsen and shit. Clay Guida's he's a veteran, dude, so he's done it all. I just get tired of watching Clay Guida fights because we all know it's probably going to go to decision. Most of his fights have gone to decision, so he has great cardio. He's hard to put away, and a lot of the fighters can never really get a good read on him because he's bouncing around the fucking ring with his hair flopping everywhere all the time. So it's an awkward opponent for anybody to fight. Yeah, it was just a kind of a weird, awkward fight. But Mark Madsen, yeah, decent performance. He definitely deserved the win too, especially all the shit that he's been through. Next fight, Jared Cannonier. I knew Cannonier was going to win. Kelvin Gastelum actually looked really good though, man. He looked better than he has in a while. He looked ready. He looked prepared. He looked in shape. Yeah, Cannonier is just the better all-around fighter, I think. And he had a smart game plan. So it was a decent main event, decent card. Those are my thoughts on all of these. Oh wait, how many did I get right on the main? So the Pantoja, I got the video right, but I picked Brandon Royal. I'll just say I got it right with the pick. Austin Hubbard, no, 1-1. Saeed, 2-1. Parker, no, 2-2. Mark Madsen, 3. So I was 4-2 on the main card as well. So I guess that's not horrible. I mean, that's not one of my better. Usually I go 10 for 11, 10 for 12, 11 for 12, somewhere around that range. Sometimes I go the full 100, but yeah, it was kind of a weird card a little bit. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment. I'm going to be dropping my video later today or as soon as I can get to it. Most likely my prelim picks first and then my main card picks. So I'm going to do a little bit more research and then I'm going to drop that video for you guys. All right.